Yo, what up guys? It's Flark. Frost is back. Have I said this recently before? No, I said Unholy was back, Shadowlands Season 3, and I was correct. Frost is back. Frost is back. 100% Frost is back. And I do mean that in the sense that it's been bad for 5 years, either bad overall or just bad design, and now it is not. Period. In BFA early, it was trash. In the middle BFA Shadowlands hybrid, it was just Heartstop Aura. And at the end of Shadowlands, it was trash. So even when it was good because of Heartstop Aura and Gushing Wounds. Nobody wants to play that. Nobody wants to play that. Now you know why it's good? Quick pillars, big frost strikes, big obliterates, actual sustained pressure outside of pillars, fast, disruptive goes that are very hard to deal with. That is Frost DK. That is awesome. And most importantly, it's all accessible right here. No renown grind, no Azurite power, no conduit farming. It's right here on the screen. These talents right here in front of you that you can access right now by logging into the game and just clicking them is what defines Frost as an awesome to play, awesome feeling, awesomely powerful spec. In Shadowlands Season 4 and Shadowlands Season 3, if you guys had the masochism to play that season, what Frost did was a 2-minute go. And it would do a lot of damage. You would probably get their Trinket Wall out of it. And then you'd be like, well, all I have to do is do a lot of damage again, now that they have no Trinket Wall. And we'll probably win. So let me just check my timer here. Let me just peep my watch. When do I have damage? Oh, in 2 minutes from now. When they get their Trinket Wall back. Darn it. That is how Frost played in Shadowlands. No more. Every pillar is impactful. You can have 2 pillars with Empower and then skip a third and then like have a 4th with Empower Rune Weapon. But every pillar is more impactful than even the best pillars of Shadowlands. You can do them off script. You can desync some of your cooldowns. You always have damage, and in between goes, you have more damage because of talents like Bone Grinder, which I will get to, obviously, don't worry. The entire video pretty much is going to be devoted to talents, so you don't have to worry. Skip me, go to the timestamp below if you want to. But that is incredible. It's incredible, it's so exciting. So in this guide, in this pre-patch Frost guide, I'm effectively going to do 2 things. One, I'm going to give you a build and all the Legendaries and Soulbinds and Covenants, because it's an amalgamation of Shadowlands and Dragonflight right now. In order to play pre-patch, you kind of have to have both. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that so you can be as powerful as possible. But also, what I'm really going to do is get you familiarized with the new talents, with the new abilities, with the new mechanics and the new play styles that will give you a groundwork that you can, you know, build up on when Dragonflight comes out. And the Covenants are all out the door. They're gone. See you later. But all of these talents and everything that you've built up on, you're just going to flesh them out even further in Dragonflight, and we're going to talk about what you're going to do and how excited you're going to be for Dragonflight to fully realize what Frost should be. That's dual wield Frost, that's two-handed Frost. Spoiler, but both. So in order to do that, we got to make a guide. In order to start that guide, we got to start it with itemization. Bringing up the screen right here. And what's the most important thing about itemization? Stats. So which stats do you need? All of them. Every single stat. You need every stat. I'm not kidding. Every stat. You need all of them. You need a mixture of all 4. Well, how could this be? Verse. That's the PvP stat. Damage, healing, damage reduct. Of course you need Verse. Mastery. Well, all of our abilities pretty much do frost damage except for melee swing, so of course you need Mastery. Haste. Well, we need fast globals during Pillar to nuke those obliteration windows as much as possible, and of course, haste scales very well with Ice Cap to get your pillars back up so you can do more windows and you can get more power out of those windows, and it's compounding. Okay, well, what about crit? Crit's always bad. No. Ice Cap procs off of crits. You need the crits to make the pillar windows actually that quick. And also your sustained damage outside of pillar, where you don't have obliteration, is still very high, which means you need crits to proc Killing Machine because your Killing Machines have so many modifiers and they do a ton of damage, so you need crit. And haste, and mastery, and burst, and that's every stat. In fact, and this is crazy, your previously best stat possible is probably the only stat with a little less priority than the others. Mastery. How could that be? Well, I'm spoiling the talents a little bit, but let's talk about just one real quick. Frostwhelp's Aid. Summons a Frostwhelp, does a bunch of damage, gives you up to 40% mastery. Well, it's for each opponent you hit. You have to hit 5 opponents. Well, first of all, you get 3 just for playing 3. Script, Blind, Stun, Pillar. It's off the global. Pillar is off the global. You can fire a Frostwhelp that gives you, that would be 24% mastery just off the global. They can't stop it. It's Grip, Blind, Stun, Pillar. But in 3s, a lot of players have additional things to hit. Pets, Guardians, Spirit Wolves, Hunter Pets, Lock Pets, Demo Lock, Unholy DK, Fellow DKs. So many things have that most of the time you're getting 24%, if not 40%. 40% mastery is an entire expansion worth of mastery. Which means, and this is crazy, you get the damage profile that you need without having to really devote a single stat rating to mastery. Which means you need to build entirely haste crit first to give you the rest of the stats that you don't have inherently. And that's what you want to do, because that gives you the sustain. You may think, oh, I like building mastery. Those big hits are huge. Yeah, we've had some big hits. We've had a lot of mastery stacking in Shadowlands. Didn't go so well. You know when the FROST DK was best last and felt the best to play, the smoothest, the most powerful, the most sustain heavy, the most pressure, constant, relentless, unrelenting pressure? Legion. And you know what? Legion had templates. And you know what our template was? Haste, crit. That was the stats that it gave us on our template, and Frost was amazing. This is what we're after. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So every stat. You want every stat. Isn't that weird? Yeah, you want every stat. If you want to kind of order it, haste is better than crit, is better than mastery. Keep verse aside. Why would you keep verse aside? It's really important because you already get it from PvP gear. You don't need to prioritize versatility. It's on every single PvP piece. You're going to have enough just by getting PvP gear. So you really need to focus on the other 3. Haste is greater than crit, is greater than mastery. That's how I'm going to build. Legendaries. As I said, Legendaries, Covenants, Conduits, they all work in this pre-patch bonanza. So of course I'm going to give you guys that because, you know, you want to be as powerful as possible while you're waiting for Dragonflight, and none other than, of course, Unity, which gives you the big A-bomb limb. This does work in rated PvP. I know it says it doesn't here. All of these things work in a PvP environment or in Shadowlands. So that's why if you're in Orgrimmar, that's why you see this message. But Unity, if you don't know how to get that, Google search, way too much for this video. Sephuz. Sephuz is easy, right? Frost legendaries aren't that great. I said every secondary stat was good. Well, this gives you every secondary stat when you stun them, and you stun them in your burst. So, bada boom, Sephuz. Those are the 2 legendaries I'm running for Frost. Well, what about Trinkets? Badge, crit. That's a good stat now. On use primary stat whenever you want in a certain pillar, right? You'd have it every other pillar. If you get their pillars back up fast enough, that's totally fine. Macro to your pillar, adds damage whenever they're up at the same time. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, well, what about your Runeforges? That's something people are going to ask for now that you're... Wait, are you dual wield? Yes. Now we have to talk about the talents for that to make sense. You will completely understand soon, but in pre-patch, you're dual wield. In Dragonflight, you're probably going to be either one. But right now you're dual wield. We'll prove it in the talents, but right now you're dual wield for this pre-patch. Get yourself some one-handers. Run Rune of Razor Ice and Rune of Fallen Crusader. Soon, all of that's going to change. Again, I need to get to the talent section to explain why, but dual wield, Fallen Crusader, Razor Ice. Anything else? Not really. Get PvP gear. It's the same PvP gear from Shadowlands. Don't worry, it's all going away soon. Dragonflight's coming out. We just have this pre-patch for a month. Get hyped. Don't worry, it's okay. Let's go to talents now. I've been teasing at it for too long. Here's my gear. You can armory my character if you want. You probably won't be able to match it because most of this gear is like tough to get now, I guess, but who cares? It's going to be replaced by questing greens soon. Let's go to talents. That's what you guys have been waiting for. Talents. Frost DK talents. I direct your attention to the right side of the screen. So at the top, we know that's things that everybody's taking. These first 5, everybody's taking them. What is that? Frost Strike, Obliterate, Howling Blast. Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't really want to go with Obliterate in my build. Yeah, that's not how it works. You always pick the first 5, so we're not going to really be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the bottom of the tree. And Frost DK loves 2 things about its tree: the left side and that very center. Let's talk about that very center first. That's a really important one. This I like to call the Pillar of Frost package. Why? Well, it starts with Pillar of Frost, and then 3 things that modify Pillar of Frost, right? So it gives you Pillar of Frost, tons of strength, obscene damage, beautiful button, love it, off the global. Then it makes it so when your Pillar of Frost expires, you get 20% strength, which lasts longer per crit that you get, which of course you're getting guaranteed crits when you run Obliteration, spoiler alert, which means you want a lot of haste to make that last as long as possible. Told you, haste is very good. All right, so that gives you strength outside of Pillar, which is part of your sustain package. Well, we talked already about how you can run haste and crit for that sustain to get fast ice cap, to get fast pillars, to get long 20% strength outside of Pillar because of Frost Wolf's Aid, right? Also, remember, this is off global damage. That's pretty cool. Not only is it off global, giving you mastery for the entire duration of your pillar, it's off global damage. It fires off a little Frostwolf's guy. It's not that much, but he cranks sometimes if you've got some modifiers, got some frost damage modifiers. He does scale with your mastery, of course. So that's off global damage that you set up every go with. You grip, blind, Frostwolf, stun. Wow, that's crazy. That's part of the pillar package because it comes out on every pillar. And then, of course, this is part of the pillar package. I've been talking about it since 3 months ago, but Ice Cap. Ice Cap reduces the remaining cooldown of Pillar of Frost when you crit with Frost Strike or Obliterate. You crit with Obliterate during Obliteration, during Pillar, which is this. You crit with Frost Strike. Well, you crit with Frost Strike based on your crit chance, and a couple of other things we'll get to in a second, which makes you really, really want crit chance, because outside of pillars, you want to get that pillar back up, so you want crits on both. Killing Machine procs gives you Obliterate crits, and then just regular crit chance gives you Frost Strike crits. And this is what helps you desync your offensive cooldowns with their defensive cooldowns for far too long. What feels like an eternity. We have just paired our offensives with their defensives, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do, but you could not change it. You could not do damage other than every 2 minutes. Now, you're doing damage every 30 seconds. And outside of that damage, you're still kind of doing damage. I mean, I've killed people outside of Pillar. That is something that was unheard of in Shadowlands. You would hit people for 2,000. I've hit somebody for 25k outside of Pillar. That's a fifth of somebody's health bar. That's ridiculous, right? So, Ice Cap. Enduring Strength, Pillar of Frost, Frostwhelp's Aid. That is the Pillar of Frost package. This is going to be a crucial part of every Frost build, the entire expansion. But what about this left side? So we got Frost Strike damage. We love Frost Strike damage. We want our abilities to hit hard. Now we've got some strength modifiers that persist outside of Pillar. Another one, 6% strength in total when you spend runic power abilities. Now that that's just runic power abilities instead of Frost Strike, it even resets when you have to heal yourself with Death Strike, which means this is pretty much permanent 6% strength as long as you have uptime, and it'll only fall off when you get CC'd, which is fair design. 6% strength outside of Pillar goes and inside of Pillar goes is awesome. Obliterate damage. Coltira's actually got buffed. I wasn't running it before. They buffed it. They probably saw what I saw. And that 10%, it was a little underwhelming, but 15%, I can start seeing that. I mean, every time you add 5% damage to ability, it keeps getting stronger and stronger. And I think that is the point where I see that being useful. Also, now that you can run it because of the oblit damage being 15% and impactful, you do get that chance of refunding runes, which is great when you're trying to spam rune spending abilities to get your pillars back up. So, no brainer for a sustain. Frost Reaper, this is the thing that makes Killing Machines insane. Obliterate, dealing frost damage, scales it with all of your modifiers, ignores armor. That's a must take. Murderous Efficiency is just to get to this next row. It is rune generation during Pillar to make sure that you never, ever have rune generation problems, and that's part of Frost. It's effectively relentless damage. You don't run out of resources. You always have damage. And now that it pairs with this pillar package, you really always have damage. And of course, murderous efficiency and obliteration synergy is so immense. It doesn't take a genius to see that generating killing machines over and over and then consuming killing machines gives you a rune is good. But now we got the real good stuff. This is the real good stuff. Bone Grinder. This gives you frost damage, which is fantastic because, again, that's like mastery. 20% increased frost damage is like 20% mastery. So again, you have all these modifiers that are effectively giving you mastery. So you can build haste, crit, and we've seen now, talking about Ice Cap, talking about enduring strength, talking about just using all the rune generation that you have with faster globals. We've seen how haste crit are so important to us, and all of these modifiers are helping us build that way. That has been the problem. If you build full mastery verse for Frost, you're so sluggish and your sustain is so low that they just pair defensives with your offensives. No more is that happening. Bone Grinder, just another awesome way to get it. Yeah, it gives you crit. Before it gives you frost damage, like 4 or 5%, right? That's just good. I told you how good crit was, so getting crit is good. Cold-Blooded Rage is amazing. Frost Strike has a 20% chance on critical strikes to grant Killing Machine. Yeah, it's not going to happen very often, but again, the more crit you build, now you're getting a Frost Strike crit, which hits really hard, and it reduces the cooldown of your pillar, and it has a chance to give you an Obliterate that hits really hard and reduces the cooldown of your pillar. They all work in tandem. Crit, haste, crit, haste, crit, haste. I was ironing it into your head. Jesus. Obliteration. That's a no-brainer. This brings the whole thing together. Yeah, we have a lot of crit, we have a lot of haste. Those help us get to those pillar windows, but once you get to those pillar windows, you want on-demand guaranteed damage, and nothing is it gives you that quite like Obliteration. Guaranteed Killing Machine, which means during pillar, you're guaranteed to reduce the cooldown of your next pillar with a pillar package. Yeah, that's really good. It's really, really good. And this is the dual wield frost build. So this is effectively, for arenas, all you would really play in this pre-patch. This could be so easy. The other build that I have is AoE. And there's something very interesting here, because there's also two-handed. I promised I would talk about that. There it is. There it is. Might of the Frozen Waste. There it is. That's your two-handed build right there. You click that talent and you've created a two-handed build. It is insane. Look at this. 30% obliterate damage and your auto attack crits always grant Killing Machine. That is a huge buff because you get killing machines that are going to hit 30% harder simply by wearing a two-handed weapon. But you can't get this yet. You can't get this, you have to hit level 61. Because if you notice something, I have no spare talents this far down. If I were to try and get this, because what would I? You just get rid of an Empower Rune weapon charge. That doesn't work. Because you only have 5 talents to work with down here. You have to put all these in to go down here, and then you have 5 left. But you have to use those 5 to get Obliteration. And there is no reason to play two-handed if you're not giving the biggest enabler to two-handed, which is the Obliteration talent. So you just have to hit 61. The second Dragonflight that comes out in about a month from now, you're going to get 1 level. You're going to get to level 61. You're going to be like, hey, I got enough EXP. I leveled up. Let me put that talent into Might of the Frozen Wastes. And now you can play two-handed. It's that simple. It's too valuable to have this to even attempt to make a two-handed build in pre-patch. But pre-patch is only going to be out for a month. So right now, as Frost, you have the arena build that you have on the screen. I believe you would run this in every arena you will play until Dragonflight releases. Then, when pre-patch... When pre-patch is done, Dragonflight comes out, you will grab this talent, and we will start going down this row, but wait for the Dragonflight guides for that. And you can play two-handed or dual wield. Which do I think is going to be better? I know so many of you have that question. I need to experiment. I mean, that they're so neck and neck. There's so much value to both of them. The faster swings, the fact that you get more value in Ice Cap for dual wield because it hits twice, one with each weapon. But those huge chunker obliterates even outside of pillar because you have auto attack crits always granting killing machine. That means you're gonna get a lot of huge obliterates all the time. And those huge obliterate guaranteed crits are gonna get you to your next pillar with huge obliterates. So I need to experiment. That is going to be a question that is on hold. But for now, you have an answer. In pre-patch, don't play two-hander, play dual wield. In Dragonflight, we will see. So if that's all, then what is this other build, AoE, that's for RBGs? You could play random battlegrounds, you could play epic battlegrounds, you could play rated battlegrounds right now. All of those have a difference between arenas. More people, right? There's more people, which means AoE-centric talents are far better. More people to hit, more cleave to do. Epic battlegrounds, this would be some of the highest output you've ever seen in the game. I've hit some huge Howling Blasts with this build. And Howling Blast hits everybody. And in Epic, you grip them all together with A-Bomb Limb, which you still have from the Necrolord Covenant. And then Howling Blast their entire team for like a fifth of their health bar per Howling Blast. You're getting tons of Rhyme procs from Abomination Limb. And every Rhyme proc does obscene damage. So, if you're doing BGs, random BGs, epic BGs, rated BGs, run this build. So let's take a look at it. Always go down the Pillar of Frost package. I'm not going to talk about that all over again. You know exactly why. Gives you a ton of mastery and a ton of AoE damage. And mastery is AoE damage. And this is an AoE build. Wow, shocker. So, you're getting the Remorseless Winter, of course. Then you're getting improved Rhyme this time. I was just talking about that. Howling Blast. 75% more damage. Well, guess what? Then you get another 60% on top of that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Those are two obscene numbers and modifiers for Rhyme procs. And again, A-Bomb Limb, which you can use in PvP, gives you Rhyme procs. That, in and of itself, just an A-Bomb Limb go with Pillar and improved Rhyme plus improved Rhyme, is obscene AoE damage. But you get some more. You get Remorseless Winter doing more damage, which is actually pretty valuable because you also get Biting Cold, which makes Remorseless Winter do more damage. And you also get Gathering Storm, which makes Remorseless Winter do more damage. You also get Avalanche, which makes Rhyme proc do more damage and apply Razor Ice. So yeah, okay. Maybe your Avalanche will be a small addition to an already obscene Rhyme proc, but it applies Razor Ice AoE. Razor Ice AoE makes them take more frost damage, something you weren't able to do before. Razor Ice was only applied single target. Now everybody in an AoE situation is taking more frost damage, and all of these things are frost damage. And I also talked about how when you can get that, spoilers again, become my Dragonflight guides. If you're playing Dual Wield Frost, once you can get Avalanche at level 70, you can take off Rune of Razor Ice. You'd have 3 Runeforges plus Spell Warden, 4 Runeforges, all buffed by Unholy Bond, 4 Runeforges, all buffed by 20%. Oh my god, but that's Dragonflight stuff. Sorry guys, you can't get there quite yet. You need more talent points. You got your second Empower Rune weapon charge, of course. It's just such an incredibly good ability. Of course you would want another one. And that's really it, except for Chill Streak. Chill Streak is really AoE centric. Does a ton of damage. Oh! And of course it does 10% more damage every time it bounces, and in BGs it's very hard to get Chill Streak to drop because there's so many things for it to hit, and I've hit for a 200k total Chill Streak before. Oh my god! And that's the AoE build, right here on the screen. Now of course, description below will be the link to both of these builds, but they're pretty self-explanatory. You should be able to follow along, but again, you can just import them by doing this. Click that button. There you go. You can play along with me. You can import it directly in there. You can follow along. You can watch the video again, follow along with each talent with it up on your own character, on your own screen, and then experiment for yourself. Incredible. Now, of course, we got to talk about some PvP taunts and the Death Knight tree. So let's talk about PvP taunts first. Frost has Necrotic Aura back. Our damage profile is so heavily magic. Like, Unholy has a lot of physical hits from its pets. Pet swings are physical. autos or physical, right? But Frost is pretty much all Frost damage. Necrotic Aura is nearly an auto pick. It's just 8% more damage. 8% damage to every Obliterate, to every Frost Strike, Chill Streak, Rhyme Procs, Remorseless Winter, Frost Fever. It's all Necrotic Aura. There you go. Dead of Winter, I think, is an auto pick because we don't want to go down, like, the build that I have in mind for Dragonflight obviously goes fully down this row and then takes a lot of this stuff. And we don't want to go down here to get Frostworm's Fury, which is still nerfed in PvP, just to get a 3-second stun. We could get a 4-second stun on a shorter cooldown with 1 PvP taunt. That's what I'm going to be running for my stun, Dead of Winter. And then, of course, you have a third pick, Strang, Bitter Chill. Strang is probably a near auto pick, honestly, with the stun, possibly stun silence or stun silence. You might kind of just lock these in unless you really need to live against a wizard, and then you might lock in something like this or even something like this. But those are the big four, right? Strang, Necrotic Aura, Spell Warden, Dead of Winter. Some combination of those four. This is probably what I'll be running most of the time. Just like that. Okay, now we can talk about the general talents. I talked about this in the Unholy one, but you don't have to watch the Unholy one to get value out of the Frost video, so let me do it again. Pretty much what I built here is a pre-patch general build. The one that I thought would just be the most useful until we get more talents, because until we get more talents, you can't take some of the more specific niche stuff like AMZ, big AMS, that Unholy Bond strategy I was talking about with the 4 Runeforges for dual wield. That's just crazy, right? You can't really get to those because Empower Rune Weapon is so good, and the core abilities that you get from this is so good. So as a result, then you kind of have to just go with this and keep it the entire pre-patch. But once you hit 70, you can split it up. You can make like a physical utility general DK build and a magical utility general DK build. And then what you would do is you would just have components like it would be dual wield, physical magical, AoE, physical magical, two-handed, physical magical, right? So you'd have 6 builds instead of 3. But here's my general one. Of course, we got Chains, Death Strike, Raise Dead. Raise Dead, it does okay damage for Frost, but it's really hard to pass up on them doing 15% less damage to you when he attacks, and you getting 6% damage. It's like Kevin, 6% more damage during your opener. It's literally Kevin's Oozling, which is good. It's good. Then, of course, this row opens up some really awesome things like Strength. It's just good, but Lichborn, increasing the duration by 2 seconds. That's Fear Immunity, Poly Immunity, Hex Immunity, Charm Immunity, and a 15% damage reduct for 12 seconds. Yeah, you want another wall. That's just more answers to physical damage, something we were very weak against in Shadowlands. And then, of course, Blind, no-brainer, grant Blind Stun, or just Blind to Peel, Blind for CC. IBF, no-brainer, removes your stuns. 2-minute IBF is really exciting. Love that. Crit chance, I talked about how it was amazing. Asphyxiate's 5 seconds now. Even though we have a ton of stuns, it's a 5-second range stun. Who can say no to that? 5-second range stun into 4-second silence? That's 9 seconds of CC by yourself, and it doesn't even include Dead of Winter. Yeah, you're going to run that. Runic 10, not that useful. Our rune generation is insane, but you got to go down that road to get... this is good. It reduces their auto attack speed. That's amazing against Fury. And Assass, Insidious Chill, or even maybe Windwalker, even maybe DH, a lot of classes with melee hits, just gives us more damage reduct to physical damage, something we were suffering before. That's awesome. Then our melee attack speed is fine because, well, actually it's more than fine. It gives us more Killing Machine procs. That's more than fine. It's like 18% attack speed. That's more Killing Machine procs, and I already talked about how insane getting Killing Machines off pillar were. So yeah, and then of course Empower. Empower is amazing. Having 2 charges of Empower means you're gonna have Pillar Empower, Pillar Empower, Pillar No Empower, Pillar No Empower, Pillar Empower, Pillar Empower, right? That's 4 Empower Rune weapons in like a 2-minute window. We used to only have 1 go in a 2-minute window. Now we could have like 6. And having Empower on the second pillar makes you get that third pillar up quicker, because not only does it give you rune generation to make sure that every pillar is fully stocked with runes, so you can spend enough spenders, Frost Strike Obliterates to get Ice Cap procs during it, but also it gives you 15% haste. And I've already talked about how good haste is, so I don't need to talk even further about how good 15% haste is during your pillar window. And then we have Unholy Ground. Because your D&D cleaves, and cleaving obliterates actually really strong, this is actually just the Night Fae Covenant ability, which we could never run because playing an entire Covenant for what could literally just be one talent is not good. But playing one talent to get an entire Covenant is good. And then, of course, having 5% haste during those windows, more cleave obliterates, you could probably grip blind AoE stun D&D. 5%. This is literally the Pheromones Night Fae combo that you could never run because you had to give up Necrolord. But now it's just 2 talents. And one of them enables you to get one of your best talents for survivability, if not your best talent for survivability, Wield of Necropolis. I talked about this in the Unholy one. I'll go over it one more time. Will works synergistically with your class. If you know anything about Deathstrike heals you based on how much damage you have taken. So if you get bursted really hard, you heal really hard, which means damage reductions aren't quite as valuable because they actually reduce your healing. So the biggest way to kill DKs is like sustained small hits. Like that's why Jungle destroys us. BM Hunter and Feral just doing a bunch of tiny hits, and you couldn't Deathstrike for much, and yet they were still killing you. But Will of the Necropolis helps with some of that, and that the damage reduction effect, instead of being like a wall, it kind of counts as healing done. You'll actually see it in your healing done on details. It absorbs the hit that takes you below 30% health, which means it still counts as damage taken for Deathstrike, right? So it reduces the damage done in that it absorbs it, but it does not reduce the damage you've taken as a component of Deathstrike, so you can go down, soak that hit, and then heal back up to full because of the big Deathstrikes, because you had to get bursted pretty hard to get down below 30% health. And it applies immediately on the portion of the hit that gets you below there, really helping you rebound, which is something DK is actually really good at doing, is rebound. Spike down, spike back up because of those big Deathstrike heals. And then you pair that with, of course, the improved Deathstrike and 20% more health because our healing is percentage health based, and you have got DK again. We have some great physical walls from 2-minute IBF, 15% Lichborn, reducing their attack speed, Will of the Necropolis, big heal, big heal. We have all of our magic answers, which of course we'll get at 70, AMS, big AMS, AMZ, big AMZ, and you have sustained damage with AoE stuns, stun silence, sustained pressure, difficult to peel, relentless output. That's DK. This is what DK is supposed to be, and it hasn't. Frost has not for 5 years. Welcome back. Those are the talents that I'm running for pre-patch. Stay tuned for Dragonflight, where we can build a bigger AoE-centric build and a two-handed build. Finally, your Covenant. If I haven't made it clear, of course you're going Necro. Yeah, you played Necro the entire expansion and in the pre-patch, but yes, very good with the Unity. Gives you 20% more damage, gives you Rhyme procs. We talked about how good those were, especially in the AoE build. And then you get Bonesmith for your Carver's Eye mastery. That's just ridiculous. I mean, this is all going away soon, so enjoy it. The combination of Carver's Eye, plus your Unity Legendary, plus all the modifiers I just talked about. I've been hitting 40k obliterates with dual wield. Yeah, 40k. Enjoy it while it lasts. As for the Covenants, the Soulbinds pathing, you go down this potency, grab Everfrost. You want accelerated cold still because it's more haste and faster cooldown on that. And then you get Hermer's Arsenal, which just gives you a ton of crit. We talked about how insane crit was. So all of this is going away in Dragonflight, but if you want to be as disgustingly overpowered, go Necrolord, grab the Unity for Necrolord, go down Bonesmith, and go down this exact path. Leave it up on the screen for 5 seconds so you can analyze it. We're done. Guys, welcome back to Frost DK. It's been a while. I missed you. Come join my Discord. Talk about it here. Talk in the comments below about any builds that you guys have came up with, what you're excited for, how much fun it is to do damage more often than every 2 minutes. Come play with me. I stream, Discord. I'm a changed man. For real this time. Peace.